I can remember it like it was yesterday.
Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market. We're down over 16%.
Dow at the same time has fallen about 18%. Stock market is now down 21%.
Because we're now down.
I can remember the shock and the anxiety that I felt just seeing the market continue to drop.
The worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
Traders here working the phone say a lot of their customers are freaked out, waiting to see how low the Dow will go. They're focused on the Dow.
There were days where I would hit refresh on my computer and I would cringe every time I would see more red and more losses.
This market is as volatile as you'll ever see.
Traders say this is the
This
craziest
could be
day.
the most serious recession in decades. And that means life, as most Americans know it, is about to change, in some cases dramatically.
The 2008 financial crisis was hard on me. Not so much because of the personal losses that I saw in my own investments. Like, that doesn't really bother me as much. But what did bother me was seeing how it impacted my clients. I had clients that had hopes of retiring soon. I had others that had already retired and they were legitimate concerned that they may have to go back to work. Many of them had visions of what their retirement was going to look like, but that vision was becoming a dream. They were gonna have to cut back expenses, they were gonna cut back on travel, and just change their retirement strategy altogether. One of the things I remember most about this time was seeing how the views on investing changed. Prior to 2008, most of my clients were completely comfortable having a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. Anything that they needed guaranteed, that was with their local bank. They knew that the market had its ups and downs, but over the long haul, history had proven itself and the market had always come back. One of the investment options that most of my clients stayed away from was annuities. They didn't want anything to do with them. They didn't want to hear about them. They didn't want to talk about them. They didn't want to have a conversation about them. Anytime you brought up the word annuity, you felt like that you were insulting them. And I recognized, like looking back, that there was two reasons why my clients didn't want to hear or talk about annuities. The first reason was a lack of need. Prior to 2008, many of my clients still had pensions that were paying them guaranteed incomes every single month. On top of the pensions, they also had Social Security. And back then, there wasn't as much a concern that Social Security would run out. But after the financial crisis, we've just seen the US debt continue to skyrocket. So now, there is a legitimate fear that Social Security will run out for them. The second reason why most of my clients overlooked annuities and didn't even want to talk about them was the lack of understanding. If you went online and did any research on annuities, all you would typically find was negative reviews, just talking about how bad annuities are, how dangerous they are, how seniors are being taken advantage of with annuities. Now, I knew there was some truth to what these articles were saying about annuities and what these other financial experts were also saying. But I also knew that annuities aren't always the bad guy. There are actually annuities that make sense in the right situation. What the common denominator was not so much the annuity, but was the financial advisor who was selling them. Oftentimes when I met someone that had purchased an annuity and had a bad experience, it wasn't that the annuity was bad, it was the fact that the person that sold it to them didn't do a good enough job of explaining how that annuity worked. An annuity, like any other investment option, has some positive features, but it doesn't work in every single situation. There are several instances where it makes complete sense, where an annuity is a perfect fit, in other situations where it makes no sense whatsoever. Bottom line, it came down to what was the need of the client? What were they trying to accomplish? What were their financial goals? When we were able to pinpoint and identify what was the retirement need, when we can actually clearly identify what that was, then we could easily see if an annuity made sense. After the Great Recession and the 2008 financial crisis, my clients were more open to at least hear how annuities worked, how they could be applied in their situation. Prior to 2008, they didn't want to hear anything about it. But whenever the client would come to me and they had a very specific goal and a very specific need, and if an annuity could make sense, I would at least bring it up for them to make the decision. Did an annuity work for them? Fast forward to present day and just the crazy time that we're in, there is so much more fear, so much more anxiety, so much more uncertainty as to what the future holds. And it feels so much different than it did back then. And right now, with most retirees, most soon-to-be retirees, they cannot handle the stock market swings. They can't handle it emotionally. Many of them can't afford it financially. By far, one of the biggest concerns that most investors have is not having enough money to last their lifetime. Like, this is the number one stressor that is keeping people awake at night. If you fit this mold, if you are one of those that is truly concerned that you may run out of money, that what you currently have will not last until the rest of your life, then this is why you may want to consider putting a portion of your retirement portfolio in an annuity. An annuity can offer peace of mind knowing that you've got a portion of your portfolio that is protected from stock market swings and will also give you a guaranteed payout every single month. Knowing how much you're going to get every single month reduces so much anxiety, so much fear, and so much uncertainty. Obtaining financial freedom where you have all of your expenses spoken for by the income from your portfolio, from Social Security, from your pension, from any other side jobs that you may have. Having that financial freedom is knowing that you have all that income spoken for. And if you have a portion of your portfolio providing you that guaranteed income from an annuity, that is financial freedom and also relieves the stress and the fear that you have. The last thing that you want to do retiring is be a burden to others, where people, your loved ones, are having to worry if you can pay the bills, if you're going to be okay, if you're going to lose the house, if you're not going to be able to pay your medical bills. If this sounds like you, someone that is carrying this stress, that has this burden of anxiety that you're going to run out of money, that you need to make an update to your retirement strategy, it's time to start doing some research to see, does protecting some of your income by purchasing an annuity make sense? If so, USAA Life Insurance Company is an option you should consider. You can get all of your annuity questions answered by speaking to one of their retirement income specialists. They can then determine if an annuity makes sense for your retirement strategy. You can either visit this URL, www.usaa.com/Jeff Rose. I'll have the link in the description for your convenience. Or you can call toll free, 1-800-531-3165. The one thing that you have to remember that it doesn't cost money to get information. For my clients that didn't even want to hear about annuities, when they finally took some time to get the information, to truly understand how they work, many of them were grateful that they had a portion of their retirement strategy that was now protected with an annuity. Once again, to get all of your annuity questions answered, you can go to usaa.com/Jeff Rose or call the toll-free number 1-800-531-3165. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.